Despite E3 now being over a month behind us, we at Guns of Anthem are still chewing over the tasty tidbits divulged before the gaming community, drinking in the wealth of post-E3 footage, and wondering whether October could feel any further off. Despite EA's reluctance to bring V-Day churning into our hearts, consoles and PCs any sooner, there's no time like the present to crawl through the bullet storm of information and take cover behind the sandbags of speculation. Let's have a cup of tea and wait for all of this to blow over. I'm Chromatism, and this is one of many upcoming videos where we give you all the information about the latest installment of Battlefield. First and foremost, there is no premium pass in Battlefield 5. You heard that right. No more additional DLC purchases, no more season pass, no more segregated community. A one-time purchase will allow all of us to experience Battlefield 5's ever-expanding content together without the risk of having our friends and gaming partners sectioned off behind a monetary paywall. Now, before you mantle your way to any conclusions, locked and loaded with cynicism, EA have stated that players cannot pay to get any unfair gameplay advantages. While we don't know yet what the monetization system itself might look like, at least take solace that we'll likely have the full game at our fingertips, give or take a few cosmetics. On that note, let's jump into the main event. Assault, Medic, Support, Scout. Anyone who's played a prior title in the series will be familiar with these class roles. While they've changed slightly over each entry in the series, give or take a Special Forces stand-in here or there, these four have formed the playstyles we've all been familiar with since the very beginning in Battlefield 1942. And so, with our return to World War II, perhaps it's fitting that this is one of the areas where we see a marked evolution. Say goodbye to the four tweakable classes of old, and say hello to the Archetypes. Instead of jumping into a match, picking a class, selecting a weapon, fiddling with your gadgets, and sallying forth into carnage, DICE have decided to take a more personal approach when it comes to outfitting your soldiers. Sure, you can still fill your beloved support role, grabbing a trusty machine gun and lavishing your ungrateful squad mates with the ammunition they need to keep them in the fight, but the Archetype system takes things a step further. Using support as our example, you now have the option to choose between different soldier roles beneath the support archetype. You could play the engineer, equipped with a light machine gun, ammo pouches, anti-tank mines, and a go-getter attitude. Or you could play as the machine gunner, armed with a heavy MG capable of outputting withering fire, refilling the entire squad's ammo with crates, and coming equipped with a flare gun that can reveal all enemy positions on the minimap under its radius. These are both examples of the support archetype. Now, at this point, you would be forgiven for thinking that this potentially sounds like a more railroaded version of the customization that we've already experienced in previous titles, but bear with me, we're going to dig a little bit deeper. From what we've learned so far, not only does each soldier within an archetype have their own selection of weapons and equipment, but it also determines obtainable perks and, new to Battlefield 5, their stats. DICE have added 3 new statistics into the mix, these being agility, suppression resistance, and blast reduction, each of which have a rating out of 5. So if we go back to our beloved support archetype, we can see how the engineer and the machine gunner vary. The engineer, with his agility of 4, suppression resistance of 3, and blast reduction of 2, seems intended to nip about and set up defences. Conversely, the machine gunner's agility of 5, suppression resistance of 4, and blast reduction of only 1 points to a soldier who is intended to dash into position, create a kill zone at range, and then wait it out. It'll be difficult to shake him with return fire, but a grenade through the window will most likely end our plucky Guardian's time on the battlefield. This all points to each role within an archetype having its own preferred playstyle, which is something you should probably take note of if you want to get the most out of the system. While our information on different archetype roles is currently limited, we also know that DICE plan to have roles that are unlockable. These are being called exotics. For example, in the Recon archetype, which has been renamed from the Scout, we begin with the classic Sniper. Now, according to the almighty wiki, at Recon level 4, we'll be able to unlock the Paratrooper, a soldier specialising in getting in behind enemy lines with a selection of suppressed weaponry, a garrote, and perks to aid in stealthy endeavours while still spotting enemies for the team. In this way, it becomes clear that the Paratrooper still fits the Recon archetype, but with a specialised playstyle that speaks to a much greater variety than we've seen in past titles within the series. DICE have stated that more archetypes will become available in the future through the Tides of War game mode, which seems to constitute Battlefield 5's live service elements, Stay tuned for more coverage as details become available. As a second part to evolution of soldier classes and customization, we will now have access to our own company of soldiers. While details here are a little sparse, the company of soldiers will allow us a set number of soldier, vehicle and aircraft slots per faction to create our own uniquely outfitted war troop and bring a little bit of flair to the battlefield. In practice, this means that we'll have a unique company of both British and German soldiers, who are the two playable factions at launch, who we'll be able to outfit and customize the more we play. It seems clear that the Archetype system will have a direct role in this, and EA have stated that each individual soldier within an archetype, each vehicle and each aircraft will gain experience through play. This will unlock new weapons, modular customization options for those weapons, gone are the variants from Battlefield 1, and new customization options such as face paints, outfit, decals and more. I mean, we all saw the horse's head mounted on the Jeep in the launch trailer. Yeah, who wouldn't want that? More importantly, it seems that this personalised company of soldiers will form the playable pool of combat roles that you can bring into both the competitive and cooperative modes. And with that, let's move on to just a little bit of speculation. The last few iterations of Battlefield have mainly done away with faction-specific weapons, giving players the freedom to choose weapons and variants based on their personal preference. Knowing that factions are separate within the company of soldiers, does this also point to weapons being faction-specific? It'll be interesting to see whether or not the weapons of opposing factions will become available as unlocks given enough play, though personally I like the idea of more asymmetric warfare. This can and will likely be expanded as more factions are added in the future. And also making me a little nervous is the idea of a finite number of slots within my company of soldiers. I mean, let's say I've invested time into a specific role, but I realise that the role just simply isn't working for me and I would like to change it. But all my other soldier slots are taken. Can I swap the role of a soldier and recustomize him, or do I have to get rid of him and create an entirely new soldier, potentially one with a fairer slant if I so choose? And also, what happens to the progress I've made in that specific role? Is it saved for the future, or is it gone permanently? Now, this is purely speculation and only time will tell, but I'd love to know what you think. Is this a new and fun way to create your own band of brothers? Or instead are they a company of convicts locked into your choices? A bad company, if you will. We'll just have to wait and see. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button to stay up to date and don't forget to ding the bell so you don't miss out. Thank you for watching and we'll talk more in the next video.